أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله على نبي الكريم وعلى آله قدره ومقدار العظيم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu, brothers and sisters in the religion of Islam. Welcome to another episode of our Quranic Tafsir series. Bijahi Sayyidina Rasulullah alayhi salatu wassalam. For those of us that are coming here for the first time, we should endeavor to subscribe to this channel. Today, inshallah, we are going to complete our discussion on the 13 verses of hypocrisy in SURATUL BAQARA. SURATUL BAQARA is that surah of the Holy Quran that explains the entire Muslim Ummah, the constitution of the Muslim Ummah, and the composition of the Muslim Ummah. Every leader is supposed to be addicted to Surah Al-Baqarah for its recitation, and also is studying, so that you will understand the level of at which human beings operate among each other, and the types of human beings that we have. The surah started with the believers, and then the unbelievers, and then the hypocrites. Now we are discussing the hypocrites in every society. It's not just within the Muslim society, no. Any society, the Abrahamic society, comprises of three communities: the Jewish communities, the Christian communities, and the Muslim communities. This is the Abrahamic community. And in the end of days, these three communities, the righteous people among these three communities, will eventually come to one and accept Islam at the hands of Imam al-Mahdi and the true Messiah, that is Prophet Isa alayhi salam, because he is coming back. And these three communities are the only communities that believe in the return of Nabi Isa alayhi salam in the end of days. And once he returns, he will unite, he will invite the Jews and the Christians to join the Muslim Ummah. Those that will obey him and will accept his invitation, these are the ones that will accept Islam, and they shall be forgiven, and they will be counted as Muslims. And all their ancestors whose path they traded upon for this time that they met the true Messiah, and he invited them into Islam, by virtue of their acceptance of the Islamic religion, Allah will forgive all of them, and they are going to go to paradise. But the ones that will reject his invitation and remain Jews without accepting Islam, those that will remain Christian without accepting Islam, these are the hypocrites. And is in every society. And also the Muslim Ummah, some hypocrites among us will swear their allegiance to the global elites of the Jews and the Christians. And the Quran warns us about that. Ya ayyuhallazina amanu in Suratul Ma'idah, la tattabi'ul yahuda wan nasara awliya ba'duhum awliya'u ba'dun wa man yatawallahum minkum fa innahu minhum inna la yahdil qawma zalimin. O you who believe, do not take the Jews and the Christians as your friends and protector, because those Jews and Christians who are friends and protectors of each other, don't follow them, because these are the global elites, the comprise of the Yahud and Nasara. But today they appear to us as the modern man, that is the new age man, that is the white man. But no, the Quran identifies them as the Yahud and Nasara. Don't follow them. Don't seek protection and friendship with them. But if you do that, وَمَن يَتَوَلَّهُم مِّنكُمْ, if you swear your allegiance to such people, فَإِنَّهُ مِنْهُمْ, you are already one of them. You have lost your Islam. You have joined them. فَإِنَّهُ مِنْهُمْ. This is Suratul Ma'idah, the chapter of judgment. This is the chapter that is the lawmaker of the Holy Quran, Suratul Ma'idah. That is where Allah provides the law of every affair in Suratul Ma'idah. So that is the surah that talks about the return of Nabi Isa alayhi salam, and he shall rule the whole world. with the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. Inna la yahdi al-qawma az-zalim. Surely Allah will never guide such a people who are oppressors. Those who are oppressing humanity, Allah will never guide them. And that is why the Prophet said, anyone who oppresses his ummah, may Allah's la'ana, the curse of Allah, be upon such a person. Whether you're a Muslim or a Christian or a Jew, if you are an oppressor or an unjust leader, Allah's curse is on you. And on judgment day, you shall be resurrected with chains in your hands, and nothing will be able to set you free because you are unjust. And Allah will throw you into the pit of hell everlastingly. You will dwell there. You will never ever be forgiven. May Allah protect us from becoming such kind of tyrants among ourselves. Now Allah is saying, let us continue with our discussion of this verse of the Quran. أو كصيب من السماء فيه ظلمات. Another example of the hypocrites, that is the munafiqs, is like the cloud in the heavens. When you see the cloud in the heaven, naturally the color of the cloud, if there is no any problem, it's always white. The cloud is always white, except if maybe in the evening it turns to red and something, but naturally it's always white. But Allah says, fihi zulumatun. In that cloud, there is darkness in the cloud. You know, the Muslim Ummah is the only Ummah that will dwell in the heavens. And so we are naturally white. But once darkness comes into us, which means we are strangers among us, those who don't belong to us, but they were born and brought up among us. They joined us, they are living with us. But on judgment day, Allah will fish them out. Just as He brings down the rain from the heavens, Allah will bring them out of this ummah. Allah will push them away, flush them into the fire of hell. So this darkness, that is when there is density in the heavens, that is when the cloud is condensed, when it's about to rain, this cloud naturally turns into darkness. And then you now start seeing thunders, and also lightning, that is during the rain. يجعلون أصابعهم في آذانهم من السواء كأثر الموت والله محيط بالكافرين. You now see these people, when they see these natural events taking place in the heavens, they don't want anything from God, so they hate even this natural event. You see them putting their hands into their ears because they are afraid of death. Anything they see from nature, they always interpret it as death. They don't want anything from God. God is the author of nature. So when you see natural events, there is a divine wisdom behind such things. But they don't want it. But this verse of the Quran is not a direct verse. It is known as it is a kind of verse which is known as mutashabiha. That is a verse that has to be interpreted before you understand its meaning. So this cloud that Allah is talking about is the Muslim Ummah. But this darkness that Allah is talking about that is inside the cloud, it is these hypocrites that dwells among the Muslim Ummah. And fi izulumat wa barukun wa ra'adun. This ra'adu is an angel that is appointed by Allah, the angel in charge of thunder. And the similitude of those angels, the ones that are inside the cloud, are those who are preaching. The preacher, the one who preaches, this is the one Allah is making. The similitude of the preacher is like that of an angel in charge of thunder. Wa barukun. Baruku means lightning. When this angel holds a stick and he hits the ice in the heavens, it produces this light, and it produces rain on earth, and it produces light in the heavens. So this angel is the one that barukun, and this barukun means lightning. So the similitude of this thunder is the warning, that is the preaching that you are warning these hypocrites. When you warn them, your voice sounds like thunder in their ear. They don't want to hear any form of preaching. So it is part of hypocrisy for a human being to hear sermon or to hear a preaching, somebody who is trying to remind you of your Lord, and then he hates such thing. If you have hatred towards any form of reminder from Allah and His Messenger, whether a human being is coming to preach to you or something else, and yet it develops hatred in your heart, that is another form of hypocrisy. So the voice of a believer is like a thunder in the hearts of the hypocrites. And then the lightning, then you don't just preach ordinarily, you preach with evidence. And so when you present these evidences, you are producing lightning to these people. And so when they see you the preacher, you become like a nightmare to them. You are the worst nightmare in their lives. So they don't want to hear your preaching, so they put their hands into their ears to block them from hearing. They are not even interested in what you are saying, because these are people that are condemned for hell. They don't want anything that will guide them to the right path. So the preacher looks irritating to them. May Allah protect us. But Allah encompasses all the unbelievers. They will never escape Him. Whether they dodge or they hide among the Muslim Ummah, Allah will one day fish them out on Judgment Day. That is, on Judgment Day, Allah will separate, Allah will fish out the good from the bad and the ugly. Only the good is going, but the bad and the ugly, they are going to the hell. The bad is the unbeliever, the kafir. But the ugly is the munafiq, the one that is pretending to be good but is bad. That one is the ugly. May Allah protect us from all of them, from the bad and the ugly. Bija Sayyidina Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam. كلما عداها لهم مشوا فيه وإذا أظلم عليهم قاموا. Whenever this natural illumination comes to them, they repeat, they benefit from it. So when there is progress in the Muslim Ummah, they claim they are with us and they share with us from the benefits of those progress. وَإِذَا أَظْلَمَ عَلَيْهِمْ قَامُوا. But when that thing stops, when darkness now come, we are now into the era of test. Allah is now testing the Muslim Ummah. You will see them, they will break down. قَامُوا. They cannot move because they don't have faith. So when such a people becomes our leader, these are people who don't have patience. They are not patient with Allah. They only want the dunya. When the leader is now engrossed with the dunya, such a leader will never bring any progress. So because in that era of darkness, we need someone that will provide us with light. And there can never ever be light in the era of darkness except with truth and patience. And that is what the Quran says in Suratul Asr. وَتَوَاسَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاسَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. In that time, that is, Allah is swearing, wal asr, Allah is swearing by that time, innal insana lafi khusr, that mankind will fall into the state of heedlessness. Hasara means heedlessness. Nobody will care about God again. And this time is the era we are living today is that perfect example of that time that mankind is heedless. All our governments today, they are godless. They don't even respect religion. They don't even regard religion as something that has a say in the affairs of humanity. They govern the world today with freedom, constitution, with just the interests of few global elites. These are the people today that controls the world. So definitely today, man is in the state of loss. So who are those that are going to succeed in this era of loss? Lallazina amanu is none other than the one who has faith. May Allah make us among them. Wa amilu salihat, and with this is faith, no matter how you are oppressed or suppressed or brutalized, you don't join them. There is this common say, people like saying that if you cannot beat them, you join them. If you join them, you are one of them. Allah will destroy you together, Allah will punish you together with them. If you cannot defeat them, you run away. And that is why our prophet did hijrah from Mecca to Medina, because in Mecca he was suppressed, he was oppressed, and Allah commanded him to make hijrah. So he has to leave. So when you remain with them, then it's like you are accepting them. You are accepting to be one of them. Maybe even if it is by force, you are defeated and you join them, so you are one of them. You can't just accept to throw yourself into fire when you know that it is real fire. Will you just jump into it because you say you have no option? You always look for a way to escape the fire. Even if the fire is chasing you, you keep running so that you don't burn in that fire. So you don't join them if you cannot defeat them. No, you run away. You change your position. You change your position. This is the righteous path. You don't join them. If you join them, you are one of them. May Allah protect us from that. We just said now Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam. So that is it. كلما عدا على ما شاف وزعزع عليه مقامه ولو شاء الله لذهب بسمي وأبصار إن الله على كل شيء قدير. Had it been Allah wills, if it was part of the will of Allah, He would have taken away their vision. ولو شاء الله لذهب بسمعهم, I mean their hearing sense, their sense of hearing, Allah would have taken it away from them. وَأَبْصَارِهِمْ, and also their vision, Allah will take it away from them. Verily Allah has power over all things. You can now see an observation is made here from this verse of the Quran. Allah is saying, had it been He will, He would have taken away their sense of hearing and their vision, because He has the power to do all things. But in the previous verse before this, in our last episode, Allah said, Summun, that is, they are deaf. And here He's saying, had it been He will, He would have taken away their sense of hearing, and their place He was saying they are deaf. So what is Allah talking about here? Bukumun, Allah is saying they are dumb. Omyun, Allah said they are blind. And here Allah is saying, had it been He will, He would have taken away their vision, which means they are seeing with these eyes. This vision, that is Abusar, Basar, that Allah is talking about here, is about the external vision, that is this one here. These two eyes, Allah would have made them blind if He have willed. And this Samu is these 2 ears, that is the sense of hearing, Allah would have taken it away from them. They can't even see externally or hear externally. But the one that Allah is talking about in the other place, that is the previous verse before this one, someone, that is, they are dumb, they are deaf. That is the internal ear, the internal sense of hearing. That is the ear of the soul. Just as your body has this sense of hearing, your soul also has that sense of hearing. And the Quran attested to that in Suratul Anbiya. In Suratul Anbiya. I cannot recall that verse offhand, but I know I read it in Suratul Anbiya that Allah is saying, وَلَكِنْ تَعْمَلْ قُلُوبُ الَّذِي فِي صُدُورِ. It is the heart that is in their chest that is blind. So the heart can see and the heart can hear. So this summon bukmun onion that Allah is, and the heart can also speak. And when the voice of your heart corresponds with the voice of your tongue, then that person is sincere in his speech. But if you are saying something with your mouth and yet your heart is saying something else different, then you are insincere. That person is a hypocrite. That person is sincere. That person has a double face. You are hiding something in your heart and you are showing us something with your mouth. That's a hypocrisy. So that summon bukmo honor that Allah is talking about in the previous verse there is about internal blindness, internal deafness, and internal dumbness. But the one that Allah is talking about here, is about external vision and external sense of hearing. We are going to stop here. This is the part 3. The 13 verses are now complete. Inshallah, in our next episode, we will continue with the next verse after this 13 verse. That is the 20th verse of SURATUL BAQARA, where Allah is calling the whole of mankind to His worship under one platform of Tawheed. And that is why the Jews, the Christians, need to accept Islam, so that we will now become one humanity under the platform of worshiping Allah and nothing other than Allah. Inshallah, today we are going to stop here. This is our part 3 of our 13 verses of hypocrisy in Surah Al-Baqarah. Please, viewers, I want us to share. We would like to share our comments and views on this lecture. If there's any point you want to raise, any observation or correction or contribution will also be important, so that we will add to the existing body of knowledge. We are studying the books of our predecessors, and we are also adding any other thing that we hear in the world today that didn't happen in the time of our predecessors that wrote their tafsirs. We will add it up to the existing body of knowledge, so that it will make an increase in the existing body, and that will be our own effort towards the addition of knowledge to humanity. May Allah accept this from us as an act of ibadah. May Allah forgive us all our mistakes, and may Allah be pleased with our deeds. May He reward us abundantly. May He unite us with our Prophet and his household and our ancestors that has preceded us in the path of faith, and also our descendants that will follow us on this path of faith. Bijay Sayyidina Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam wa sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi al-ahir wa sallam tasliman kasira. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun ala al-mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.